Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Phil. Phil, welcome to the show.
Hey Ben, it's good to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Phil, before we dive in, let's get to know you a little bit. What do you love about content and marketing? And tell us a little bit about your background.
I love everything. I mean, that's probably like a ubiquitous answer on here. I love everything about content marketing. I love everything about marketing. Quick history on myself. So the day I was born, I'm just kidding. Not going to go back that far. I've been in marketing for about 13 years now. Started out at a nonprofit radio station doing IT work, and then worked my way after I got my MBA with a focus on marketing into the marketing portion of the nonprofit radio station, or radio network rather. And been doing everything from email to paid search to SEO all in-house. So I've been able to experience the in-house portion of marketing from a very general perspective. So if there's a generalist in marketing, I'm that guy. And one of my things that I like to say about marketing specifically is if science and art had a baby, it'd be a marketer. Because you got to like and love and understand both of those subjects to be an effective and efficient marketer. So that's a very quick overview of me.
That's so cool. I love it. Great experience, great perspective of marketing. I love that analogy. I think it's great. So Phil, we're going to talk about something that every single marketer and pretty much anyone in business uses every single day, and that is email. And Phil, from your perspective, email is drastically changing, or at least should be changing, how we kind of approach it. What are your thoughts in general? Like, how are we approaching perhaps a new era of email? What did it look like, and what is it changing into?
Yeah, so like email historically, from a marketing perspective, has always been something you grow your list, you have a captive audience. You are able to send very specific messages to that audience. And traditionally, those have all looked like a message with a giant orange button that says, do the next thing, and has very much been looked at like a direct response channel more than, say, like an actual communication channel to an audience that has interest and a vested interest in the things that you either have to offer or that what you do. So I think when I say marketing email is broken, I think it's because we think about it as a captive channel and they got to do a thing. You're looking at click-through rates, you're looking at the things that they're doing. And I'd like to start thinking about the emails that I work on and work through for any company that I'm putting together email packages for as a channel, very much like a social channel, where you can share not just information, but media. You can share all the different things that are going on within the organization or from a product standpoint in a much more natural way. So I think that's kind of like, when you say email's broken, that's a big piece of it. It's not just a conversion channel. It's a social channel.
Yeah. I think that's such a cool way of looking at it. Also, all of these platforms are restricting you from seeing the data and analytics anyways. It's really, really tough to know who is opening and interacting with your content on email. So it seems like it's a natural shift as well as things are changing. But what are your thoughts in general? Like, technology is playing a role with this as well. How is technology kind of impacting this shift in mentality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's I like to call it an email renaissance, I guess, if you will. There's a lot of companies like specifically Heymail, that's a 37 Signals product. Superhuman. Gmail is also doing a lot as far as making sure that the inbox is less cluttered. They're grading people on spam levels and unsubscribes and making sure that the inbox is nice and clean and clear, and that the things that you get are the things that are going to be important to you, specifically Heymail. One of the coolest features about Heymail is you get to curate who actually ends up in your inbox. If I get a list email from a company I've never decided to opt in for, I can click the thumbs down button and I will never see an email from them again. Superhuman, making it super efficient and fast to work through emails and get to zero inbox. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on just from an email client perspective that I think that we haven't necessarily seen in the past. And like you said, hey, I mean, you didn't say Heymail does this, but they block all tracking pixels. So anything that I get in my Heymail account, no marketing company knows about. So we've got to trust that the things that we're putting out and work hard to make sure the things that we're putting out in email and sending to our captive audience are things that are going to be important to them and the things that are going to help them make their life better and make progress in the things that they're trying to do. We can't just look at it as an opportunity to put a big orange button in front of people anymore.
Yeah, and I think that point is so true. I've seen it in other technology as well. If you look at like even my iPhone, every time I get so many spam calls on my phone that I enable the little feature that says, if you're not in my contacts, I don't even get your call. Mm-hmm. And my voicemail even says, it doesn't even say who I am. It just says, hey, I get so much spam that if you're a real person, you're actually trying to get a hold of me, shoot me a text message or leave me a message. Otherwise, I'm not going to answer your call. And I think email, it sounds like Heymail and all that kind of stuff is doing the exact same content or idea for content. I've got to opt in, it's forcing that opt in. And even social media platforms, I've heard people start to like advertise, my platform doesn't have an algorithm where you're just going to follow people and get their content. And we're not going to force anything else on you. So it sounds like this is kind of a big trend in the space as well. And, so as we're trying to embrace this, right, as a marketer, I'm saying, well, shoot, like you got to change things again, just like every other day. How do I start to kind of go through that paradigm shift with email and what does the old versus the new actually like logistically look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly marketing is it's essentially you're on a house that's in quicksand. Like every once in a while, you gotta figure out how to get yourself back to the top. So I think the shift is it's less of a like, what content are you putting in there and more of like a paradigm of how do you view, like how important is your list? Every marketer says, oh man, my list is super duper important to me, but they don't often like put their money where their mouth is and treat it like a list of people who are interested in your product. They usually treat it like a list of people who they want to sell a thing to. Or get to do the next thing on the product. And so the paradigm shift that I'm thinking about is like, just view it as another social feed channel. And I think that shift is, a lot of companies probably have to do that just from their social channel perspective as well, because otherwise you're just going to disappear. Yeah. It's funny that you said that. There's companies that are going to like a no algorithm process because like that's how social media started. You make friends, you add them to your friend list, and then you get to see stuff from that friend. Yep. People you trust, people you are interested in, seeing them have ice cream with their kid or grab a donut or whatever it is. But you have a vested interest in the content that is happening on those platforms. And I think as companies, we have to think about it the same way.
Yeah.
There's a company.
Yeah, I remember back in the good old days of early Facebook, right? When it came out, its first year, I was at college at BYU and randomly, I was able to have access to the social network, but the 20 people I was friends with on the platform, that's all the content I saw. And I didn't know it was ranking certain things or any of that goodness. It was just, you see what you see and you're connected with people. And even before that, it was the AOL Messenger in high school and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And,
ICQ or remember that one? That's an old school one.
Yeah, for sure. So when you're talking about the social platform, treat it like a social platform. There's this trend of 0-click content. Is that kind of what you're implying? Like, what do you mean by, what would an email actually look like if you're treating it like a social platform? Obviously, no giant buy now button, things like that. But what would like an actual email, what should it maybe look like?
Yeah. So like when you're thinking about an email and the no-click idea, like the point is not just to get no click. The point is that the content you're sharing or putting on there is something that they can consume whether or not they click. It sounds pretty straightforward, but a lot of people don't really quite understand that. Like there's a company called Sunsama. They are essentially like a calendar tool that connects to Asana and a couple of other tools that help you organize projects better and your day, time block activities and all kinds of stuff. But they send out an email that's called a meditations newsletter. And the point is to like, yes, it connects in a very specific way with what they do as far as how they want to be intentional behind the product that they make. But it's not just about being intentional about the product. It's adding intentionality to your life. They have a very specific structure to it that's the same every time. Like they have like a comic, they have an idea, they have tips in video format so that you can get right to the tips. They also have like a section where you can ask questions of either the product team or even the CEO. So the content is designed not just to get you to click to the next thing, it's to engage your mind about what they're trying to do, which is be intentional about your day. Be intentional about the way you organize your projects. So it's not about, hey, we posted a blog post, come check it out. It's not about, we've got this new product feature, come check it out. It adds an intentional piece to your day. It's very, you can count on it. You can read it in your email stream, and it helps you to connect to the company, to the mindset that the company is wanting their customers to be in. And it ultimately is like an important, and you can look forward to it happening. Like it adds value rather than just saying like, oh, they've got another product announcement would be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how, is it something that people can count on getting value out of? Or is it just another like retail email that says, hey, there's a 25% off sale happening? Like not super compelling.
Yeah. The way I've heard it put, and I love how you're framing this, is the concept that think of your content as your product. And the quality standard that would need to be there. If someone were paying for your content, what would you deliver? And I think people are kind of getting sick of the idea of, hey, our content is just this scheme to get you to our website, to get you to buy, as opposed to, hey, our content is meaningful, valuable. Really, my whole objective is just to build trust and have you trust me and know that we care about this thing and we're experts at what we do. And then when you're ready, go ahead and look us up. Obviously, we have something to do with this and we care about this and we're experts in this. So obviously our product is probably pretty good about that. Is that kind of the sentiment that you're looking at and saying like that's social content?
Yeah, I'm glad that you use the idea that somebody would be paying to be on, because there are email lists and folks out there that actually have a paid email list to actually just pay to get the email. Like people that sounds crazy. People pay to get an email in their inbox. And that's because it's not just another email. It's not an email a day that just has a bunch of product listings on it. It is something that adds value to their life and they're willing to pay for it. Like if we could think about that and have that mindset as companies going in, then like it changes how you think about it. And ultimately that's what's going to happen. You have to change how you think about email and the value of being in somebody's inbox.
That right there, I think, is the golden quote to end on. As promised, these episodes go by super quick. Phil, this has been amazing. I love your perspective on email. I think our audience is going to love it too. But if anyone wants to reach out and connect with you online, how and where can they find you?
I'm going to say what every marketer says, LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Or I could be obscure and just be like, I don't know, I only do email lists. No, LinkedIn, just do a search for Phil Palalis and you'll get me. Just be careful, it's not my dad. We've got the same name.
Love it.
You'll see me, a big goofy looking guy.
And I will make sure that we link to Phil in the show notes so it's really easy to find you. But again, Phil, thank you so much for the time and the insights today.
Awesome. Thanks. Love being here.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.